got sunshine in a...
So, I saw SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout. It was pretty good. It was a great celebration of everything SpongeBob Squarepants. The episode has two plots. The first is SpongeBob going on a bus tour to the surface world with Patrick so his friends can organize a surprise party. The subplot is about SpongeBob's friends arguing about what theme the surprise party should have. The episode has a lot of fan service because tons of SpongeBob characters from various episodes have cameos at the birthday party in this episode. The episode is good. It isn't a perfect episode, but it's better than True for Square, which was the 10th anniversary special of the series. The episode focuses mostly on SpongeBob going to the surface world where hijinks ensue. The absurd things include a game show hosted by Kel Mitchell, dressed up like a bean, who shoots beans out of a cannon to people who answer the questions wrong. Then there's an office where people dress up like gorillas. I found that scene amusing. I think you all know why. But one of the highlights of the episode for me has got to be the scene where the voice actors from SpongeBob appear in live action form. That was teased online beforehand with clips of the voice actors recreating scenes from the show. I thought the live action portion featuring the SpongeBob voice actors would be much longer, but I still really enjoyed the scene. The subplot was good. I liked the scene where SpongeBob friends argued about what type of party SpongeBob would have. They ended up splitting up different parts of the room because they couldn't agree which theme the party should have. Mr. Krabs had a Krusty Krab themed part of the room. Bubble Bass had a Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy part of the room. Plankton had a torture part of the room. That scene with Fred in the torture room was hilarious. Plankton's trying really hard to get him to shout my leg. Instead, Fred says an unenthusiastic version of my leg. Mrs. Puff had a boating school part of the room. Squidward put his art all over the house. The surprise party ends in disaster with the entire house falling apart. The tour bus ends in a fish shop after a woman thinks it's an aquarium. I found it funny how SpongeBob and the other fish called them fish prisons. The tour bus manages to escape, and SpongeBob manages to persuade the tour bus driver to take the fish with them. One thing I really liked was that the fish looked realistic while the SpongeBob characters didn't. Then the tour bus brings SpongeBob and Patrick home. Patchy appears throughout the episode because he's trying to give SpongeBob a gift. He ends up giving it to him at the end of the episode. This is the first time Patchy and SpongeBob have ever met in canon, I'm pretty sure, and it's great to see the two characters finally meet, because they're both portrayed by Tom Kenny. Also, a bunch of celebrities cameoed in the episode, including David Hasselhoff, who first appeared in the SpongeBob Squarepants movie. The episode ends with SpongeBob revealing his age, only for the scene to be interrupted by static. I wonder how old SpongeBob is, but I guess we'll never know. I enjoyed the episode. It wasn't terrible or anything, but as far as criticism go, it could have been a bit better. SpongeBob going to the surface has already been done in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Personally, I think it was a lot better executed in that film than this episode. But still, I found this episode funny. To be fair, this is a special and not a movie, so things are obviously going to be smaller scale. And also, it's very, very hard to top the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. It's very hard. That movie is just so great. It's a classic. And actually, I thought the execution was fine. I liked the humor in this episode. I found this episode funny and I enjoyed it. I expected more live-action SpongeBob character scenes. That was definitely the highlight of the episode for me. I'd watch a whole episode in that style, which is kind of what I wish this episode was. But overall, I enjoyed this episode. One thing I loved about this episode was that it ends with "Thank you, Steve Hillenburg." It was great that Nickelodeon paid tribute to the man who created their flagship show. It's great they acknowledged him. I know people have criticized Nick recently for their bad decisions like Camp Coral, and some people view the show as disrespectful to the creator. But the network is still grateful that Steve created the show. Nick still cares about Steve Hillenburg. The episode was a great tribute to SpongeBob's brilliant creator. Overall, this episode was decent. I wouldn't say it's an amazing episode, but I still liked it. It's a great celebration of everything SpongeBob. So if you're a fan and haven't seen the episode yet, I recommend that you check it out. I can't believe SpongeBob has been around for 20 years. This has been ShadeX, and thanks for watching.